Welcome in, everybody. This is your man Berkio, and this is my beautiful bride Brianna, and this is Happily Ever After Hours. And we are so glad to be back in front of you guys this week, hopefully with another great story of just life and perseverance and relationships and just all the things, right? Because it's all the things that we have to battle today.
Right. And look, guys, it's actually after hours. It's night. We're tired, but we're here.
And that's the after hour. We wanted to make sure that it had that flow, and we haven't
Yeah.
had it in a couple of weeks
Yeah.
because it's been crazy. And then I think this episode and the last one, if I remember correctly, we're both in the daytime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
So we're back at it, y'all. Yay.
yeah, this week has been a good week though.
It has. It's gone by fast, but like in a good way.
Yeah,
Not like rushed,
but
but
it's,
just
it's
like,
always when you're looking forward to a holiday, it comes super fast, and then the holiday weekend goes by really fast as well.
man, they gotta go back to work.
And you're just like, man, where did the last 3 days go? Where did these last 3 days go?
Listen, that's why I got strategic this time. And I said, I'm going to take some time off after the holiday.
Yeah.
So I got an extended break, and I'm super excited just to be off.
I mean, yeah. It's gonna be nice just because it's again kind of what we've envisioned for life, So it's kind of cool to see it,
Yep.
see it happening.
Also, you can see that I am holding my mic today because I decided that I'm going to be a singer now. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just, we were fighting with my mic stand, and I said, no, we shall not be defeated.
Cause we be doing that, like when you start wanting to start stuff, it gets man, we talked about this the other day, which is hilarious. Like God always sends a funny reminder when you upset and you trying to walk out fast, and what catches you?
The dadgum doorknob.
The dadgum
or just random
or a chair telling you to slow down.
See, I'm not really the doorknob person, but you know what I do? I will hit my pinky toe on everything in the like. I don't understand. All of a sudden, my pinky toe just out there, just hitting everything.
I hate when I stump a
toe. That's what gets
really
me.
Do. It makes
it's
me
never just randomly. It's like when I'm already like irritated, and then that's when the pinky toe.
Yeah, mine definitely is just getting caught up on something though. It's always a pants or a belt loop or one of my lanyard strings, man. Nothing makes me so. But oh my gosh, I'm ready just to punch through a wall because it's so irritating. But at the same time, I'm like, all right, you got me. I'm gonna slow down. Make sure I walk slow. Make sure I drive slow.
That's what I think of, like with like driving and stuff, like with traffic. Man. I used to get annoyed. Like I've never been like a big road rage person, but just annoyance of traffic. But now I think that like, okay, maybe God needs me to slow down so I don't get in a wreck or something. Something may be going on where I'm trying to get to. So let me chill out.
About 8 times out of 10, I ain't gonna say 9 times out of 10, but about 8 times out of 10, there's like some type of commotion up ahead, and it's like, okay,
he's the rager.
I am. It's not even like rage, it's more so just frustration with stupid drivers. Like, you have a blinker?
Yo, isn't that what ragers say?
Maybe not. But I feel like not.
No, you're not that bad. I've seen some videos of people that like lose it.
It's just
you just talk to them in the car like they can hear you.
I do. Because I'm like, why do you not just use the blinker? It costs at least a good $10,000 to put on both sides. That's part of your package. A good use of your blinker. And the blinker is what drives me bananas. People that turn just right before they're about to turn. You knew you were about to turn.
Yeah.
You knew you were about to turn. Turn the blinker on. Just use it. It's very simple.
Yeah.
But that's not here nor there.
Before we get really going though, do you want to grab the charger because it's saying low battery?
My gosh.
On the computer.
The ghetto.
I know.
It didn't charge.
Hold please. Commercial break as he goes. Well, while he's getting the charger, hope everyone's had a great week. Drop in the comments anything you guys are doing to celebrate or just hang out for the 4th of July, if you celebrate or if you don't, if you're just hanging out with family. And there's a plug right here. It's fine, take that out. But yeah, so anyways. So we are in our Faith Over Fear series, and so we're continuing that. If you didn't get to watch last week's episode, please go back and watch it. We had a great time just talking about, how we can be better with our fear and just leaning into our faith. So today we're going to continue that, and now we're just like really digging into that fear side. We decided we're going to start with fear and work our way up,
And if you just saw my face, the way that I looked, I'm sure it looked pretty funny. I had did something to my hip. I have no idea what.
He just like pulled it or something.
Yeah. And it's been hurting. Any like slight little twinge, like any quick movements. My hip is like, yo, we too old for that.
Whoa there, buddy.
But we're getting back to 100%, which is
yeah.
All glory to the Most High. But as my beautiful bride said, though, we are moving into the fear side first, just because I feel like with fear, we talked about it a little bit last week with the identity, false identity, imposter syndrome. And, that is 100% based into fear.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Because of the doubt and just the unsureness, obviously, that you're just feeling. And then just the immense pressure, I think, that people put on oneself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We have so many expectations of ourselves once we start to get to, I would say, somewhere in life, right? I mean, you have to think about it. You want to be, I would say as best you can at anything that you do, but that's obviously not everybody's mindset. But I feel like you want to at least appear like you have most of it together, right? You don't want to show that you're always fearful of what the wind may blow at you. You know what I'm saying?
I see that.
So I feel like everybody should, but I know everybody don't.
Right.
And so that's kind of where this verse here, I think, really plays a part into helping us with our identity.
Right. But before you get into that,
okay.
Before we go,
my mind was racing and I was just talking through it.
Yeah, we're about to go deep into this fear. I want to start with something funny, though. No, not necessarily funny, but a little lighter. So my question is, what is an irrational fear that you had as a child or like younger?
You're not going to believe it, but we're going through it right now.
What?
Yeah. So our son Roman, he has a fear of the darkness.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
I had a fear that the dark would swallow me when I was little.
That is terrifying.
Swallow. Well, yeah, man, because like you've been down that one road in my hometown, like we drive by and I say, oh, we used to walk across the tracks at this place.
Mm-hmm.
So like down that alleyway though, like it's not an alleyway, but down that street at night there's no lights there. There's no lamppost, there's no nothing. And so it's like on this end it would be light and then it just turned into darkness because there was no
scary. That would be scary. That's scary now.
Yeah. So there was like no lights down there. I hated walking down this road like at night. I was like, I'm not gonna do it. And anytime I did, I would sprint to get to the light.
Absolutely.
And I was like, I gotta get to the corner because the corner has light. And then I'll be okay.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah,
no, I wouldn't do that now.
So
in my big age. Yeah, like, no.
That was, now I'm better. But I get what you're saying. But yeah, that was for me as a kid. I was like, I'm not walking down that street. I think I got scared down that street too once.
Well, that makes sense.
There's two, now that I think about it, there's two streets like that. So the one street I did get scared on, and I always sped walk when I had to walk. I just always sped walk there. Not gonna walk slow.
Poor baby Trav.
Yeah, man. No thanks.
Well, you're gonna laugh at mine.
All right, you laughed at mine, so that's good. It was like.
I mean, I laughed, but like.
But it was also
like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, I've told you mine a little bit, but for the people watching, so I don't know if it's irrational, but like I had a fear I was gonna get left in the rapture.
Yeah, you told me this. Yep, she did.
Like,
and she still like, sort of does.
I'm not trying to get left. Lord, make sure I'm right. But no, when I was a kid, and I partially blame my mother because she, like, whenever we did anything, she'd be like, Jesus gonna tell me. And I was a little kid that, like, if I tried to get away with anything, they would always find out because I was a horrible liar and a horrible, like, I just wasn't sneaky.
Same as our daughter. She's honest to attack.
And so I would always get caught, and she'd be like, Jesus told me. So then I was like, dang, Jesus really be telling. So I was like, Lord, I'm not trying to get left. I don't know how I got to the point of, like, I don't want to get left from the rapture. Like, nobody ever said that, but I just put it together. Like,
oh, but you said you watched the movie though.
Oh yeah, I did watch Left Behind.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay,
Left Behind. You said you watched that.
That's probably what it
played into the paranormal.
It did play into it. That and reading. I read the book series too.
I mean, that's a really good question. Those are really two good things, because it goes into. Yeah. God was just like, why did you fear that I'm just getting?
Yeah. So
and then I'm like,
I read those and I watched that, and so anytime, I was just like, Lord, I don't want to get left. And I just remember this one time there was like a garage sale or something in our neighborhood. I was taking a nap because I liked taking naps back in the day. I still like naps, but they went to the garage sale, my parents, and they took my brother because he was younger. And left me at the house thinking, oh, she'll be asleep till we get back. And I woke up and nobody was there and they didn't tell me where they were going, y'all. I was crying. I was like, oh my God. God, I'm sorry, please. And they came home and they were just cracking up like, you thought you got left, didn't you? Like they knew. Anyways, they thought it was funny. I didn't think it was very funny. But yeah.
As a kid, you never see it as funny as like more traumatizing.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Because it's like, yo guys were good. Yeah, I feel that. Deep down.
So I say that was.
I hope childbirth is good.
I'm all right now, you know.
That's good.
But
also we had a great talk this week with other married couples as well. I thought that was really good. It was our first official, welcome to church meeting. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome to church. We go to church, y'all. It's just the fact of...
It was our first time.
Our first in small group.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
And so we went to a marriage one, and so it was really dope. We had some fun. Just questions and stuff. It was kind of wild, the question. Be honest, it was a wild question because
it was, but it wasn't because I felt it.
Like I knew you would.
I was like,
Yeah, I knew you would.
I had a lot to say, but I kept it short.
Yeah, and honestly, what it came down to, it was like this kid, his mom and his dad had both gone.
No, it was just the mom.
Oh, mom. Yeah, mom's gone. Because I'm assuming she didn't tell dad because he had no idea. But mom passes, right? And the boy goes and lives with his grandma. He did a DNA test, right? And then he's like 13 as well.
Like Ancestry.com.
Yeah, and so he found his dad was living in the same vicinity as him. So he looked him up, called him and said, hey, I think I'm your son, woo-tee-woo-poo. And then the question was like, he's married. He didn't know about the child. But then he comes home and he tells his wife, hey, I got a son.
Can he move in?
And what was that, right or wrong? And the wife was like, nah.
Immediately no.
Yeah. So then we had a whole conversation about it. And I thought it was really good. Tell us what you think, though, with that. Do you think she's wrong by answering no? And then we'll obviously type in what we say and all what we said and all that stuff.
Also, for preface, they also said that they had 3 children of their own. They had 3 daughters of their own. And so...
It's been a minute.
All that.
But yeah, so I thought that question was really... It was a very interesting question. But it got a lot of dialogue from the other.
That's what I was gonna say. Like I really enjoyed the dialogue and like the different sides of it, perspectives of it, because it was like, I didn't think about that in that way.
Yeah, one lady actually said what I was thinking as well, though. So then that's why I decided to say what I thought. But she really hit it on the head, and I was like, exactly what I would do in that situation, because it felt like that's what only would make sense. but everybody's common sense is not your common sense. So that's something I'm learning as an adult. But off that tangent, back onto the verse what we're talking about our fears and what came to me with that was the funny thing about being a human is we place the fears onto ourselves.
Oh yeah.
We place them onto ourselves, whatever that may be, and then we try to like accept it. That's the crazy thing.
That's what it is.
That's what it is, you know. And I accept it. Like I'm afraid of heights. It is what it is. I'm not afraid of heights. I'm just height chasing. Like I don't, I know where I need to be at.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of like when we were talking. Sorry.
That's the discernment. That's just the discernment of it.
Yeah. Like we were talking to Roman about his fear of the dark, and like he has to have a bright light on, and then he still tucks his head under the blanket,
which is.
And I'm like,
he's a hot body too.
Yeah. So, but I asked him like, why are you afraid of the dark? And I know that's like a wild question to ask, but like I just wanted to see where his head was at, and he was like, I don't know.
Yeah. And
that's how we all kind of are with our fears. It's like, do we even know why we're like, where's the root at? Because a lot of times then once we get down to it, it's like, oh, that don't even make sense. And that's kind of how the conversation with him, like, like if you're afraid of the dark, why would you then put your blanket on top of your head? Because then it's dark under your blanket. And he was like, oh.
So he's getting a little bit better.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the same.
It's
the same thing like with us. Yeah, it's the same thing like with us with fears of
Yeah, but I think it's too is the active imagination, right? But that's on children and adults, right? Because you can go to the most outlandish thoughts so quickly when you're an adult, because one, I think you got years, and then you have experience, and then you add that all in to what's happening, and then it really starts to mudslide, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is this and this and this is about to happen.
Yeah.
And you just start to, put that cloud around you, and it's not a good cloud. It's not the cloud that's following you and covering you, giving the shade that you want. It's the cloud that is dampening your mood. Yeah. It's literally making you where you can't think straight because it can make you sick. You're so gripped with the panic.
Yeah, yeah. I say too, from a woman's point of view, especially a woman if you've had children, like a lot of people talk about postpartum depression, like far as like you're depressed or you can't get out of bed, that type of thing. But there's also postpartum anxiety, and that was something that I deal with. Like I'm fine on the depression part, but the anxiety part is the part that gets me because I will have the most irrational, fearful thoughts that make absolutely no sense. Like Robin can be running and in my head I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna slip and she's gonna fall in the air and she's gonna fall on the ground and crack her head open. Then we're gonna have to go to the hospital, and I spiral, and then I have to stop myself and be like, okay, she may actually fall, but she probably is just gonna like fall on her bottom and get up and be fine. Yeah. But it's the anxiety part of it. If you don't take hold to your thoughts and switch up your thought process, it can really like be detrimental. And that goes with fear. It's the same thing. Like if you continue to allow yourself to take in a lot of fearful thoughts or watching a lot of fearful things, that's all you're going to pour out of yourself. So it's like, again, what are you pouring into yourself? Because whatever you pour in is what you're going to pour out.
Man, you're just making my brain just go ping, 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 because I'm just connecting some stuff that you're saying, and it's all really great stuff, right? You said, one, we have to learn how to take control of our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And that there is something that's hard. But you know what? The Bible actually tells us that too. It tells you to take control, take captive every thought that you have.
Yep.
And the reason you want to do that is because it's supposed to help you from spiraling, right? When you can really now start to label what is this? Like, what is that? Like, okay, so are we really concerned about that? Like, do you really think about what you're thinking about?
Yeah.
Most people don't.
Right.
Right? Because it's like, why would I? That has never crossed my mind to think about actually what I'm thinking about. But I started doing that about 4 or 5 years ago, and it really has helped me because, again, like you just said, it keeps me from going to that worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to do, but it's like I want to be so enamored with spiritual strength and mental fortitude that as soon as that thought does come up, I immediately squash it with positive things.
Yeah.
Because if I hold it too long, then it will become something that I will think about way too long and put too much thought into. Much thought.
Absolutely. And I think too it's it's almost like active thinking, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like I don't know if my mom made it up or if she heard it from somebody, but she used to always say, like, an idle mind is a devil's workshop.
I mean, that's like a saying that everybody's heard.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was like, I don't know where she got it from, but, like, that's who I heard it from.
It's a colloquial. Is that how you say it?
Soliloquy?
No, not soliloquy. I think it's a colloquial. Or it might be a soliloquy. I don't know. It's.
I have no idea. Anyway.
I'm going to have to look this up. I feel like it's like a saying that everybody knows.
Yeah.
I might have butchered that, but I feel like that's what it's called.
Anyways. But like, yeah, so devil's...
Let me know. I'm pretty sure I'm probably wrong.
I don't mind as a devil's workshop. So it's kind of that same thing of like, you're not paying attention to what you're thinking about, or you're not thinking about anything of substance.
That's life right
now. So then
everything
is going to... Like, it's easy to pick up negative...
Oh my gosh!
Over positive.
Like I say that I haven't said it in a while, but I say it a lot to my players. I used to tell them a lot that like you just oh my gosh, I just lost it. Oh my goodness! But it's so here it is. It's so easy to do the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. That's the easiest thing you can do. Lying is the easiest thing that you can do. Mm-hmm. Right? That's so easy. Everybody can do it. Mm-hmm. What's not easy is being truthful. Yeah. It's hard to really tell people the truth. It's hard to accept your own faults. Right? You can tell yourself you're the greatest, but you know that there's some area that you need to improve in. There's not a single person walking that is that fantastic.
Right.
But people believe that they are. Mm-hmm. And that's where it can get you into trouble. You know, because then I think you don't have the right fear. You know what I mean? Like you might, but I just don't. I don't know.
I don't know if fear would be the right word. I think
it's probably
maybe
not the right word.
Healthy cautiousness, like understanding that there are boundaries that you gotta like be mindful of, but not putting yourself in a box of you can't do certain, like you can't do things
that might
because
of
X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Okay, I was like,
I knew where you was going. I was just
I'm glad we do.
I was trying to let you get there, and then I said,
that's okay if I don't
get there. Let me help you get over that line.
Get me over, pull me. But I've been teasing you guys a lot already about what verse we're going to read, and it's out of Isaiah, and it says, Isaiah 41:10, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And obviously, there's a mouthful in there about it, but the biggest key that we want to take away is the fear not. And we earlier this week, looking at this stuff, we typed in "fear not" on the Bible app, and there was like 20 verses of like him telling us fear not. And so
and the I am with you.
And and those are important because again, what did we say earlier is that we as humans we place those negative things upon us, but here he tells us to fear not, for I am with you. Mm-hmm. So whatever it is that you're having to go through, I know it's like easier said than done. You know, God, are you with me? Like he goes into the room before you get there. Okay, he does, and we have proof. My wife has a fantastic story to tell you because this is proof that he says, fear not, I am with you. Like he goes in places he makes, not that this person was her enemy, but they prepare the room for you. They prepare a table. Listen to the story. Go ahead.
Not listen to the story. I'm going to just shorten it up. But basically, as you can see, I got my hair done. I went to go get my hair done. And it was somebody that's done my hair like years ago before we moved to Bartlesville and we moved back and everything. Mm-hmm. But so she knows, that I'm a Christian, all these things. She used to go to church. She doesn't as much, but she's got her own walk story and everything.
Which everybody does.
Yeah. And
no shame in that.
When I got there, she was like, I got the room set up for you. And I was like, what do you mean, like, set up? Like, just doing my hair. And she was like, well, like, I know that you're a Christian and like you're like really into Jesus, so I just wanted to make sure, like, I cleaned the room out. Like sometimes I do incense and other things, so I just wanted to clear the room out to make sure that like you were comfortable. And I was like, it's like you didn't have to do all that. And she was she wanted to watch like some reality shows, but she was like, oh, I'm not gonna watch righteous stuff while you're here. Like we can watch a sermon. And I was just laughing because I'm like, I'm not a condemning type person. Like you can watch what you want to watch. I'm just sitting here working while I get my hair done. It's fine. And then she was just kind of like, well, I'm trying to do right and everything like that. And she was like, I was just trying to prep for you to come. And just a lot of things, we talked about a lot of things that she needed to talk about that it just came up. We watched a sermon that she just needed. Like, it was just falling in line of a lot of things that she was asking questions to God about way before, like, I was even booked. And she was really like, this is crazy that it's coming to pass. So anyways, I just told her, like, you didn't prepare the room for me. You prepared the room for God. Like, come on. You may have thought it was for me, but it was really, you were inviting the Holy Spirit to come in so he could talk to you, and I was just the vessel.
That's it.
And so we chatted and everything, and she sowed a beautiful seed by giving me a discount. Hallelujah. But
and we take it. Yes, we do.
And we take it. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. But no, it was really awesome because, again, I didn't go in there ready to open my Bible up and tell her to read, whatever. I was just there to go sit. And it's funny because I always joke with him, like, every time I go get my hair done or go get a massage or whatever, I never get to just sit there.
No.
Like, I'd be ready to just, because I'm like with
and it'd be like,
my kids all the time.
She's been a tosser to get her hair done, never met these people.
It don't matter where I go, I'm like, oh, yes, I'm going to sit here and I'm not going to talk the whole time. Like, I'm just going to
enjoy the moment.
And then something will happen. They'll ask me one question and somehow we get on the rampage and all of a sudden now we talking about life lessons. And I'm like, how
we get here?
Literally in my massage. And she's like, so my boyfriend. And I'm like, all right. We're doing this today.
But you know what? That's just a testament to, again, you are the light of this world, which is like I ask every morning, to be a light of this world and to be salt to this tasteless society. And that's what you are as well. It's like you're salt to this tasteless society. And it's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's just you walking around being who you are. People's like, yeah, let me...
It just came to me too. I think that's God trying to push me out of my fear, because even when we went to the marriage group we were talking about earlier this week, like after it was done, like I was fine during it. We were talking, doing discussion and stuff, but afterwards everybody got up and was just kind of like mingling and talking before we were done. And Travis was like, "Do you want to sing and talk? Are you ready to go?" And I was like, "Let's go," because
Over my lip talking.
When I am in like a group setting of like new people, granted I knew some of them like from just like other people and stuff, but like knowing that like everybody else has already formed some type of relationship and then like we're the newbies, I was terrified. I was like, nope, let's go, I'm ready to go. But then it's funny because I just feel like God pushes me out of my comfort zone, because then like random strangers, now I have to tell them about whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing is like, I mean, there's several, obviously more than several, but there's a bunch of ways that you can pray like some scary prayers, like in the sense of that, like they're gonna stretch you to your limits, and you know He's gonna get you to be the full person.
You gotta be careful how you pray.
Have to be careful,
and what songs you listen to, because that I want to be tried by fire, I don't listen to that song anymore. Because I don't want to be tried by fire.
No.
Use me, Lord, but I'm tired of being tried.
But yeah, that was one of the prayers that was like, I had a chuckle about earlier this week, because it was just like, we was talking about how obviously we don't want to go through tough times as couples or anything like that, but you're going to have them. You know, it's bound to happen. It's just, it's life, so it's bound to happen. But one of the prayers was just like, you know, Lord, what do you say, like test us, like help us through these tough times, basically, or whatever, or something like that. And it's like, you know, it's a scary prayer to, you know, ask for, because sometimes He's going to take you through those times and really, you know, see how strong your faith really is. And I think that's kind of, you know, also what He's saying here is, fear not that I am with you. So it doesn't matter what you are actually going through, fear not, because He's with you. You know what I'm saying? And so,
what's going on in the world.
And then be not dismayed. Like the word dismayed for me in this moment is very powerful, just because it's like, don't be confused. Don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying?
Don't get distracted by what you see on social media saying what's going on in the world.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't get distracted for what people are saying about what's going on.
And I will strengthen you. So like, that's the thing that like, it's like you're going to have those hard times, but really just leaning on this whole verse right here, Isaiah 41:10, and reading it. I think that's just a way for you to, you know.
What did it say? You said after it says not dismayed. What was the next part?
For I am your God.
And I will strengthen you.
And I will strengthen you.
Because it made me think of Job again. Because, and I know that's not who we're talking about today, but it made me think of Job just because, like, he was going through so much.
So much.
And there were so many people, literally even his wife, like so many people telling him, like, you know, just curse God and die. And that's the be not dismayed part. Like he could have easily
went with
been like, you right, I'm tired. I'm just done.
That's a good point.
And he was strengthened because of his faith in God. Anyways.
Yeah, and then got a double portion.
That's what it,
You know, it's not like we're always looking for a double portion, but, you know, Lord, if it's out there and willing, hey, we are ready to receive that double portion. You know what I'm saying? At
all times, hands open.
You know, so that's something that I think that through your times is when you do that, he's going to reward you. And again, it's not that you're looking for that reward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's just, it's again, it goes back to, you know, if you're like basically he's saying you're a good father.
Yeah.
And you provide gifts for your children.
Yeah.
You know, if they ask for a snake, do you give them bread?
And
what is it? If you have to bread, you give them snake.
Right.
Like, no. So, you know, obviously he's going to give you good gifts.
And the reward's not always tangible too. The reward could be that you learn how to discern better by going through stuff.
That's big.
You know,
you need to have discernment.
It could be different things like that. Like you've said to people, like, don't pray for patience and then try to figure out why you're going through things that are causing you to figure out if you're patient or not.
Yeah, because
that could be a reward. Like you learned how to be patient.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good thought. I don't think I thought about it like that. That just really hit me. Thank you for that, because that was,
you're welcome. No.
You know, I mean, because like I don't think you think about it, but like you through those trials you develop something, and you know you should be, you know, able to, again, that's that fruit. that's bearing the fruit. Patience is one of them, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, and the one that nobody wants is
long suffering.
The long suffering. Nobody wants that. But what's on the other side of that, right? So, I mean, you're gonna, hopefully be able to tough out some of the tough situations that life does bring. But again, fear not, for I am with you. And like last week, we talked, like you just said, Job. Today, we're going to talk about the prophet Jonah and how his fear actually, once he got over it, saved a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing, is like, the biggest part about this story is Jonah was fearful of going to his enemy's capital city, which, again, that's anybody. You don't want to go to my block and say, hey, I'm about to take the block over.
And here's the thing too about that. I was thinking on it, like, Jonah obviously had never been to Nineveh.
No.
So he's going off of other people telling him,
yeah,
hey, you don't want to go there, dog. Like, it's
hey, bro, that's
X, Y, and Z.
Hey, the West Side is hard.
You see them on Instagram, you ain't trying to mess with.
You
trying to mess over there.
Yeah, and that is the tough part about, taking in everything. There was a pastor out of Houston I love listening to, Pastor Jerry Flowers. He had a sermon over voices and what you allow in you, like what people are saying, because that's going to determine your reality sometimes, just like what it did to Jonah here, is that he was like, absolutely, positively not. I am not going to Nineveh. But the fear of having to go there, the fear of the unknown of what was going to happen, the fear of what he was fearful of, I'll save it to a little bit, but the fear, and then there's just the fear of, stepping out, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because this could have been his first time.
Right.
Like, God was like, hey, yeah, so I know we've been talking, okay, but I think you're ready. I need you to head to Nineveh. Yeah. I need you to head to the east side of LA. I need you to head out to East St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? I need you to hit the Bankhead. OKC, east side of Tulsa. You know what I'm saying? I need you to be at the east side of Tulsa, and I need you there to help these people. And that's sometimes he places you at certain situations that you don't actually know who you're going to benefit by you simply just being there.
Yeah. You know what, too? Fear is bad, for sure. But I think that there's two sides to fear. I think there's the fear that is used by the enemy to keep us from getting to wherever God's trying to get us to. Mm-hmm. So that barricade fear. But then I think there's also a doorway fear is what I'll call it. So we got the barricade fear, which is trying to block you from getting to your destination by stopping you because you're scared. You don't know what's going to happen. But then there's the doorway fear, where it's almost like God using it in a sense of, okay, this is scary, but am I going to lean into my faith to jump?
Yeah.
So it's like having to get through that threshold fear of the unknown in order to get to your next phase. So I think there's two different sides to fear. There's a bad side and a good side in a sense. Mm-hmm. Because like with Jonah, I feel like his fear was more so the doorway side. Like, it wasn't necessarily straight up like, this is to stop him from, preaching God's word. Mm-hmm. Like, God was sending him. It wasn't Satan necessarily being like, ooh, you can't go over there.
No, this is the fear he placed on himself.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's a healthy amount of, like we were saying, cautiousness. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say fear, because we don't want fear. Yeah. So I think there's a healthy amount of cautiousness of like, okay, well, if that's what you want me to do, if you want me to go speak to these people, like, what am I doing? What am I supposed to say? Kind of like with Moses. When he first called Moses was like, Lord, what? Yeah. And he was like, this is what I want you to say. And he was like, all right, cool. And then he was good, over time. Mm-hmm. But like with Jonah, he just took a little bit longer because he was like, yeah, I don't know. So his faith had to be tried, like we were saying, because the unknown scared him.
Yeah. And what was interesting about it is, like I said, you don't know sometimes who you're gonna bless when you do your trip.
When you say yes.
When you say yes, right? But and
instead of maybe.
Yeah, and in Jonah's case, in his no, he actually saved some men, right? Because there was a storm that came, obviously because of him. Not obviously, you may not have read Jonah, sorry, but there was a storm that came, and Jonah's on the boat. He's asleep, right? And they wake him up. All these men also, as the weather storm's going, they pray to their gods, and their gods didn't do anything. And so then they found out Jonah. They was like, "Who are you?" He tells Jonah who they are. So then he was like, "Throw me over," and it was like, "No." And I found that interesting because they wanted to still save this man that was still bringing them all this trauma and this turmoil that they was going through. But then what happened when they did throw him out? Those men, before throwing him out, prayed to God. He saved those sailors by converting them to the way, as it was called back in the day, called the way. So, he saved those men, and then he goes on to preach in Nineveh, and then he saves all the people in Nineveh as well to help them turn around and to repent. And just like we all need to do, because there are some things inside of ourselves that, we're not happy about, that we try to hide away from, just like Jonah had to.
Yeah.
That once you face it and you say, you know what, I am the issue. Who am I?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so,
I mean, your journey can bless someone because, like, even in that story, like Jonah's journey, like he told them, like, the storm is because of me.
Yeah.
And like he could have easily been like, I don't know what's going on.
You have to own your mistakes.
I still gotta stay on this boat because I'm not going to Nineveh, so I'm not gonna say anything. But he owned it, like I know what it is, and in the end, it helped, convert those people from whatever gods they were worshiping, and that's kind of like with, the transparency of doing what we are doing is. We're not here to say we have it all together. We're talking from our experiences, and we hope that you guys take it as us just being authentically and true to, what our story is, because our story may be partly your story and vice versa, and it just helps us to be able to do life together better.
Yeah. No, 100%. And having conversations, open conversations, I think, about this. Because, again, a man messed up. He knew he messed up. He owned the mistake.
Right.
And then he did, in the end, obey what needed to be obeyed. And that's us. We're going to fight, and then, the funny thing about it, what he was more afraid of was that God was such a forgiving God that he was going to forgive his enemies. And that was the biggest takeaway on this part, is that no matter what you do, right, God is still going to forgive you. He still wants to know you. And I think
he leaves the 99 to find you.
He leaves the 99 to find you. And so I think that's the biggest thing that we need to take away from this is fear not, that God is always beside you. He's always with you, and he's always going to want to come and save you as a sense of you from yourself, right? He's not going to take you out of the lake. Now, he might send at the right time the rescue boat, you know what I'm saying? But he's not going to physically. I just want you to differentiate between that.
Yeah.
Because, again, that healthy cautiousness, that you have to have, right? We know not to test God in silly ways, but...
Yeah, don't stand in the middle of a freeway.
Yeah.
Say, here we go.
But in some shape, form, or fashion, God will send a way to make sure that you're protected as long as you are searching him and allowing him to lead your life. And even in sometimes in those dark moments when you don't believe that there's a God, he's still there waiting for you just to call out for him and say his name. I don't know why that came to me, but it may be something relevant to you.
That was good.
And so, that's our time here. We love talking in front of you guys. And I didn't get to say, but as I told y'all going to see this for the next 2-3 episodes, maybe the rest of the season. But This is your boy Berkio, my beautiful bride Brianna, and this has been a Happily Ever After Hours. Peace.